everybody, and welcome in to Blue Jays Today, everybody, where we are going to be talking about all the latest Toronto Blue Jays news. That series as a whole against the San Diego Padres, almost capable of whipping out the brooms, almost getting it done, but once again, just coming up short in that final game of the series. We have yet to series sweep anyone. It sucks because ultimately, that was still a very good series as a whole, a very good week as a whole. A lot of things to build off of, to feel positive about, to feel good about if you're a Toronto Blue Jays fan. It sucks when you lose that last game because now we're, when we're doing our show on Monday, it's like, okay, well, now we're talking about the shit that went down on that final Sunday game. Even though, and I do want to make it very clear, even though I am feeling a lot better about this team right now, and there are a lot of things to feel good about. So we're going to talk about all that, and then this upcoming week as a whole. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog.
I'm your host, Dalton Varsho. And yeah, I mean, guys, overall, the record is pretty good in the last 2 weeks. We're 8-4 in our last 12 games. That's very good. How we got that 8-4 record, I mean, it wasn't cute. It wasn't sexy. I mean, the Blue Jays haven't scored as an offense over 5 runs in one of those games. Not a single game over 5 runs. So, I mean, we talked about it like jokingly. Blue Jays, all they got to do is score 4 or 5 runs. That's all they've been literally doing. They have not been scoring anymore. And the pitching and the defense has been very spectacular. We are first in defense right now. Now, you could make an argument, well, maybe that's all the outfield. Well, we're actually 8th in the infield defense, it's above average as well. So the pitching and defense have been carrying the team. But like you see in the Sunday's game and other games that we have lost in the last 12 games, when the pitching and defense ain't there, then we lose. And it comes down to that, man.
Yeah, man. And on that Sunday game, the pitching and defense weren't there at all. Adam this morning cut up a little reactionary clip of yesterday's game and all the errors and miscues that the Toronto Blue Jays had. I forgot about some of them, man. But like that one play out there in the outfield by George Springer, letting that thing just roll past him, that was rough. You had the catcher's interference. You walked in a run. I mean, Guerrero's strikeout at the end was just, that was terrible.
That was the cherry on top of a crap game.
Exactly. So, I mean, that game as a whole, you can just kind of take it, crumple it up, and just fire that one into the garbage can, and we can move on. There are a lot of things to build off of, but the same problem that plagued the Toronto Blue Jays last year is continuing to plague them right now. Quick shout out here to Mike Wilner, who wrote an article on the Toronto Star today just talking about how, they have not been able to get the sweep yet. That does need to change. And it does, right? I mean, the best teams in the world, when they have, their opponent on the back foot, when they have them up against the ropes, that's when you finish it, right? And so far, we haven't had a whole lot of finish in those series sweeps. And you can argue that the reason is because we're not actually finishing on the base paths a whole lot. Last year, the whole narrative was runners in scoring position. We are not scoring when we get ducks on the pond. We're getting people to second base, and then it's, pop out, strike out, and whatever, right? We're just not getting it done. And similarly, it feels like that problem has moved over to 2024.
Yeah, like just taking a look right here, guys. Team hitting with runners in scoring position. No, we're not the Milwaukee Brewers or the Cleveland Guardians or the Texas Rangers World Series champions. No, we're the Toronto Blue Jays. 27th rank in average with runners in scoring position. That's a .210 batting average. Now, just pointing out last game, and look, again, I want to say again, it's okay. We won the series. It's fine. But that's also because we're getting great pitching and defense. Like, we need to be living and having good at-bats and driving in these runners with runners in scoring position. We look at Sunday, we got 3 runs. Where did that come from? Well, it came from 2 homers, solo homers from David Schneider, Ernie Clement. Shout out to those guys. And then a ground ball, ground out by David Schneider scoring a run. So that's still not a hit with runner in scoring position. You can make an argument, well, if David Schneider came up there with a runner in scoring position, now we have runners at first and third with still 1 out. Now we got a chance to score even more runs. So getting a base hit is really valuable in that spot, and we're just still not doing it. And that continues to plague the Toronto Blue Jays into this 2024 year. And you add Justin Turner, which by the way, he's got a .333 batting average with runners in scoring position. But now you have a lot of our current guys that aren't coming up clutch. Hashtag to the core, which that hashtag every day gets a little bit more funnier and funnier. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 160 batting average with runners in scoring position. George Springer, 176 batting average with runners in scoring position. What do you make of this right now? Because, I mean, we got Donnie Baseball in to try and fix the philosophy here. So far, it's still early. A little bit more than 20 games we've played. But we haven't seen a whole lot of change. And if you haven't signed Justin Turner, this team would be really, really bad.
Yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of people were saying, been commenting on some of the videos and just being like, oh, you didn't make the offseason acquisition, and the same problem that you had last year is still the same problem. And when you boil it down like that, it's like, oh,
right.
Of course this is, like that's still going to be there. And we were hoping that there would be a lot of offseason adjustments and people would get better. And they come in with a, new revitalized sense of how to play good baseball when you do get people on second base, when you have an opportunity to score. Some guys, that is the case. I mean, shout out to Dalton Varsho, who had one hell of a week, dude. If that guy did not play the baseball that he played over the past 7 days, I mean, could have been a completely different situation. So we are going to talk more about him a bit later, but he's doing really well right now. But yeah, there is a lot of guys that the same thing that they were doing last year, they are doing again. And, again, we're not going to hit the panic button here or anything like that because we are still 12-10. This is still a positive thing. And the pitching side of things, the starting pitching, they are turning it on right now, folks. So there is a lot of green flags over on that side. But to be a successful ball team, I don't think that you can be ranked 27th or I think we're 27th in runners in scoring position. We can be really, really good at baseball if we were 15th in runners in scoring position.
Absolutely.
Because then you're really playing into your strength, right? The strength is always going to be your pitching. It's always going to be the fact that Lamakina can give you 7 innings and Chris Bassett can do the same. And then you can follow it up with Kevin Gausman and it's bang, bang, bang. Like they're scoring 3 runs against you a game. But you are going to need to get a little bit better with runners in scoring position as the season goes on.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate right now for the Toronto Blue Jays that we have made the decision. We're riding with these guys. I mean, I understand. I get the decision. You want to ride with Vladdy. Of course you're going to ride with Vladdy. Of course you're going to ride with Bo. And you are financially obligated to ride with George Springer. So you are going to ride with them. But and we've talked about this on the Blue Jays Today show. I see people in the chat right now on our YouTube channel saying, bring up the AAA guys.
Yeah.
Springer's got to go. When do you start doing that? Do you let it ride the whole season? Or do you start making some drastic decisions if you're John Schneider or even Ross Atkins sooner rather than later?
It's a really tough one, man. I keep going back and forth on this, and it is such a difficult question to answer. I mean, I think we can all agree that 20 games into the season, still too early.
Right.
Still too early.
Absolutely.
Because even though they're doing really well in AAA, that's still a small sample size for them. And, some of our guys up here who are doing really bad, that's still a small sample size for them as well, right? So things are going to change. Things are going to adjust. 60, 70 games into the season, now we are starting to have a much greater understanding of how you are playing baseball in 2024. And if in 60 games or 70 games into the season, I don't know where that puts us, early June, I think. Something like that, early June. If you are still finding oh shit, there's a lot of guys up here who are not getting it done. We are in the bottom tier when it comes to runners in scoring position. Addison Barger and Elvis Martinez and Spencer Horwitz and Alan Roden, they're down there right now, popping off. I mean, as much as I would love for the Buffalo Bisons to win a championship, I'm much more interested in them coming in and delivering for the Toronto Blue Jays up here. And I feel like in and around that time frame, end of May, early June, again, it depends how people are doing, right? It all depends how people are actually doing. But I think that is when you're going to really start to see these conversations mean something.
Yeah, I would like for it to happen. I would. But my big thing, and it all comes down to who the guy is controlling, the controller of the team. It's John Schneider, maybe the analytics department, and maybe it's Ross Atkins, right? And are they going to be able to make those decisions and make the call to bring them up? Because right now, there's no position for them right now. Because you have all the guys who are doing well in that bench spot, in that infield spot. They're all doing well right now. And so if they're doing well, okay, well then by May or June or whatever it is, you have to have some of them fall off to then get those guys up for a chance. Are they going to call them up? Are they going to do that if the team is, and I believe it, based on the pitching and defense's team, that's going to carry us into a winning record, a good winning record into contention. And will they make that big drastic call to make these big changes in the lineup, calling up those guys, starting those clocks on these young prospects, if we're a game out of wild card? You know what I mean? Like it'd have to, for me, take something so drastic, like falling really deep into the standings, low, to make some sort of drastic change like that. If we're good and we're winning, then I feel like this management won't make that call.
Well, the biggest problem, man, and it always comes back to this. Every single Blue Jays Today show, I feel like we are coming back. It is a cyclical thing. Looking at that top 3 of the order right now in George Springer, in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and in Bo Bichette. And the fact of the matter is, the boys are just not being the boys that we need them to be. And when people are talking about bringing up the AAA guys, I'm with you. I fucking agree with you, dude. Like, Addison Barger is our guy, man. And he is abusing the baseball down there in AAA, man. Like, that baseball, there's baseballs out there that have families that are worried about Addison Barger and Elvis Martinez and Spencer Horwitz, because that is how much damage they have been doing down there in AAA Buffalo. But the problem is, just looking at a numbers thing right now, like literally just looking at numbers on a page, if you were to send somebody down, don't apply name value here. Don't take the name. Take away the name right now. But if you just look at the statistics on the page, 1 for 1, the player that I would be sending down right now would be Bo Bichette for one of those guys. That's who it would be. But you're never going to do that because obviously he's Bo Bichette and you need to give him more time. And I believe that he's going to get better. But the core of your team, to the core, they need to start acting like to the core, because Barger and Martinez and Spencer Horwitz are incredible. But you're never going to make the move of Guerrero for Martinez. It's just never, ever, ever going to happen. They need to be the core, and Horwitz and Elvis Martinez and all those guys need to be the complementary pieces to that core.
Here's the thing. You say Bo Bichette. I think I would say, other than Kevin Kiermaier, because he's obviously the worst offensively this year, I would say George Springer. I mean, he's second worst offensively just in terms of OPS. On this team right now. And I feel like if you were, let's play some fantasy right now. If you were to remove one player of that top 3, I think we can all agree George is the first to go, because you've got to rely on Vladdy to be Vladdy again. You know Bo Bichette's going to be fine. But George Springer, it's a different story. He's not a mid-20-year-old guy out there. He is getting into his mid-30s now. He is aging right now, and he hasn't proved that he can be the George Springer of the past when he was in his late 20s with the Toronto Blue Jays in quite some time. So for me, there's a reality in right field. Okay, who can play right field for the Toronto Blue Jays? Kevin Biggio. Great. That opens up a spot in the infield where you've got also Elvis Martinez could play, Addison Barger. Hell, Addison Barger could play a little bit of right field. George Springer right now, he's not just getting it. He's getting a lot of walks. Great. He's actually walking a lot more than he's striking out. But as your leadoff guy in the top part of the lineup, you'd like a little bit more damage. You'd like a little bit more production in that lineup. That would be an area maybe where you can go cut your losses. Not saying cut them off the team, but maybe reduce the playing time a little bit and allow some other young guys to get an opportunity.
Do need to give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, man. If you got time to just pull up his Baseball Savant page, I wanted to take a look at what it was that he was doing well and not doing too well. And it does say right here, I mean, take this as you will. Granted, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s Baseball Savant page is always saying that he's going to do really good at baseball. But it is saying that he is hitting the sweet spot of the baseball a lot of the time, like top tier doing that. He's not chasing a whole lot. He's still above average in whiffing. He's not striking. So all of this is positive for me, right? You're doing what a leadoff man should do, in the sense of you're not striking out, you're not chasing, you're making it difficult. And also, too, his expected batting average is significantly higher than what his actual batting average is. His actual batting average is like 210 right now. His expected batting average is 273. If that was actually what he was doing, I'm over the moon. You're all the way back. You're our leadoff guy. I'm about it. And this is part of the reason why you need to give these guys more time. Because right now, when I just look at something like this, you're not hitting it very hard. I mean, that's not great. But when I look at something like this, I am thinking, okay, well, maybe you're getting a bit unlucky right now. But if you're still doing it in June, then it's a different conversation.
I think that's where my conversation was. Because, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Expected batting average of a 73. That's great. And he's got 13 walks to his 11 strikeouts right now in the year.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. Good for you. You're getting your walks. We're missing that extra base power from George Springer. He had 2 homers in the beginning series against Tampa Bay. Nothing since then. He has 2 doubles. There's no extra base pop. His slugging's at 309.
Yeah.
That's not good for George Springer. I don't know. We gotta let it ride, of course. No big drastic decisions are ever gonna happen in April with guys like that. But it's something to keep note of. If you want to bring up the AAA guys, for me, that would be an area, if it's still lacking, that'd be an easier replacement.
Yeah.
Or at least give some share. I wouldn't say cut him or bench him completely, but give some share. He's older too. I mean, John Schneider even said that last year he mismanaged George Springer playing him so much because he started to run out of gas near the end of the year. Because, he is an older guy compared to these other young guys. Maybe you do bring up Addison Varsho or Elvis Martinez and give a little bit more playing time to some younger guys.
Well, can you just go back to the George Springer numbers very quickly here? I think that we got to get it out of our brains that he's going to be a power guy. I think
it's gone now.
I do think it's gone, right? But let's just say, for instance, he was batting the expected batting average there of 273. And his on base, his on base is literally 109 points, higher than that. Now you're looking at a guy who's getting on base 38% of the time. There's not going to be a whole lot of slug. There's just never going to be a whole lot of slug here moving forward. But as a leadoff guy, if you can be batting around that 280 mark, getting on base around 38% of the time, that's going to be an OPS right around that high 700s to low 800s. I would take that. I would absolutely take that. You're not going to get the Springer dinger of old, I don't think, but it could be better.
And that's also assuming that he's going to be having a high 380.
That's the thing. I'm assuming right now that what he's doing at the dish of not swinging, not chasing for things, taking his walks, I'm assuming and I'm hoping that that's going to continue. Because if you're not going to give us, the 35 home runs or whatever it was that you used to do in Houston, okay, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. You know that you are getting older. There are other guys on this team whose job that needs to become. I'm looking at you, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That needs to be you. But if that's not the case, then maybe transition your game to become more of a conventional leadoff hitter and play into your strengths. Get on base.
Yeah.
Get on base as much as possible. He is doing that, so I will give him credit there. He is getting on base, even though he's not necessarily hitting the ball right.
Yeah, compared to his batting average, he's getting on base. But again, we got to let the season play out a little bit to see where the numbers lie. Because you're right. If he just replaces batting average with the expected batting average, and then assume that all that good patience is going to continue, then that's great. That's great. We got to let it play out, just like we got to let it play out with Bo Bichette, just like we got to let it play out with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This is the focus point right now. The Toronto Blue Jays, the bottom part of the lineup, I am not worried about at all. No. I actually get more excited about innings when I'm seeing Dalton Varsho, Justin Turner, Ernie Clement, David Schneider, Kevin Biggio. It'd be crazy if you told that to me in March. You'd be excited about these guys coming up and not the other guys.
100%, dude. I mean, yesterday they had the inning went because the top three went 1, 2, 3 in 6 or 7 pitches to Joe Musgrove in the first inning. The second inning, you ended up with Justin Turner, Dalton Varsho, and Davis Schneider. And I was fucking thrilled. I was like, yes, babe, now we can do some work. Now we can do some damage, And obviously, David Schneider had himself a bit of a game, as did Ernie Clement, who deserves all of the love in the world. That guy's incredible at baseball,
amazing.
Defensively and offensively speaking. OPS, I think, over 800 right now. So really good stuff from Ernie Clement.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, top of the order needs to be better. All that being said, though, JC Cruz saying winning a series and complaining, we do need to give a bunch of props to some people too, guys, because at the end of the day, and that's why I wanted to start this video off by saying, we did win a series.
Yes.
It was positive.
Yes.
There was a lot of good performances. Let's look at that first game right here, everybody. That first game against San Diego. How about my favorite offseason signing, Yariel freaking Rodriguez, dude?
Yeah, very good. 4 innings, 7 strikeouts, only 1 earned run, 3 hits. He looks really dominant. I mean, this guy's K per 9 is looking very good. Early sample size. I'm hoping it gets built up a little bit more. You saw Bowden come in, only give 2 innings of work. That's Bowden's happy place. We don't want to get any more Bowden Francis innings than that. If you can get Yariel up to 5 in his next start, Bowden comes in. Bowden doesn't even need to piggyback him anymore. You can just have Bowden be a long relief man in games where maybe we're losing or maybe we're up by a bunch. I love it. And hey, shout out to the top part of the lineup that actually showed up this day. 2 hits for Bo Bichette, Guerrero, Turner, who had a home run, David Schneider with 1, Danny Jansen with 2 hits right there. I believe both extra base hits, 2 doubles. So they really did show up, and I'm very, very glad about that first game. Clean to get off to a great start. The next one, Jose Barrios, the ERA has now dropped to 0.85. It seems like every time this guy hits the mound, it's another scoreless outing. He has a ridiculous scoreless streak. I believe it's almost 30 innings right now of scoreless baseball.
Over 20.
Oh, excuse me.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like 27 2/3 or something like that. Jose Barrios is on fire right now. And then, of course, you had that beautiful Dalton Varsho 3 for 4 with a home run game. Just phenomenal. Man, La Maquina, we've been saying it before. People are saying, yo, it's too early. Don't talk about this. Yeah, it's April 22nd. Happy Earth Day, everybody. But Jose Barrios right now, WAR for pitchers in the MLB is second at 1.6. Earned on average is second. He's first in wins, tied with Glass now. I mean, it feels redundant. Like we're saying this so many times. But Jose Barrios is in for the best year of his career, in my opinion.
1,000%, dude. I mean, this start is crazy. I mean, you know, if you would have told me this is what we're getting, I say, yes, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I believed in him, and I did think that, you know, he was going to be in for a good year. But this is obviously smashing all expectations. Now, we do need to recognize that he's going to give up an earned run eventually.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? The guy has earned himself one hell of a leash right now, and if John Schneider even considers taking this guy taking him early out of a game for the rest of the year, like, he is going to have the entire media to face.
Man, what did I say? Like, in the offseason, I said Jose Barrios is going to he's going to reach another tier because he doesn't want that to happen to him again. He wants to be in the tier of Kevin Gausman was last year, where you don't take this guy out.
Yeah,
you let him ride.
Doesn't matter what he does. That's your guy, and you're trusting him. You know?
And right now, the Toronto Blue Jays, you can make some arguments for a few guys for sure, like Kikuchi, but Jose Barrios is standing alone on top of this rotation.
Yeah, no, I mean, Barrios has obviously been fantastic, and I do just want to cycle right back to Yariel Rodriguez quickly because I think that, you know, the impact that he's having right now on this team, we're not talking about it enough, right? Because everybody was walking into this season thinking that 5th spot is going to be Alek Manoah.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Not Alek Manoah. He's hurt. Oh, shit. What do we do? Okay, well, you know what? Bowden Francis is looking pretty good at baseball. Let's get him in.
Not looking good.
Now not looking good. Dude, if we didn't have Yariel Rodriguez right now, I don't think that we're in line to sweep yesterday.
No, I mean,
I think we lose game 1, you know?
We won that game, and we won the first game that he came in pitched.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
Maybe 2 potential L's turned to W's. I agree. And when you look at that rotation, you know, let's rank them right now, just no particular order. You got, you know, Barrios, you got Kikuchi, you got Bassett. Gausman's looking a lot better right now. Hopefully he can get built up even more. And then you got Yariel Rodriguez. Yeah. So if you could have Gausman be good, which I think he will, everybody's going to do their job, I think, in this rotation. Yariel's going to be great. That 5 is disgusting. And Alek Manoah is a whole other conversation. You don't need to bring that guy up anytime soon. He does need to come up in May, or else he gets designated for assignment. Well, so we got to do something there.
Going to have to do something there for sure. But Yariel Rodriguez, like, this guy, what he's doing, I think it's just so impressive because there wasn't a single person, no analyst, no, broadcaster, nobody that was saying that this guy would be a starter in the second week of April. And that's what he's doing, right? He didn't play baseball last year.
Yeah.
He did not play baseball last year. He signs this contract. We were having conversations about him. Oh, okay, well, you know what? This year he's going to be months in the minors, then maybe comes into the bullpen, and then maybe next year.
Maybe a couple spot starts.
Yeah.
You know?
No, dude.
This guy's going to start 28 games for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes. And like,
if he's healthy.
And that is just so huge for this team right now, especially with everything that's going on with Alek Manoah. So just hats off to Yariel Rodriguez, dude. Like, I'm seeing what this guy's doing and loving it every second.
Dude, that Alek Manoah thing, we got to cross that bridge when we get there, but that's going to be confusing. What do you do with him?
I can't imagine the videos when we're dealing with that, bro.
This is a major decision. But yeah, huge. Got to love it. And then finally, we talked about it a lot in that game 3. We had some errors. You know, the boys, whatever it was, George Springer had an error in the outfield. You had Danny Jansen with a catcher's interference. You walk in with the bases loaded. It just did not look good. I did see this tweet right here, so take it as you will. Hazel May came out and said that, this is a quote from Chris Bassett. He said, "I didn't feel good. I didn't have it today. But what's most interesting to me is in the bottom part here, he said, we've got about 20 guys on our team who are sick. I'm one of them, unfortunately. That actually has not been talked about at all. I mean, when 20 of your guys aren't feeling well, I mean, you weren't feeling well recently. Imagine going out and playing a sports game in the hot heat of California. Probably wouldn't be feeling that good.
No, of course not, right? I mean, like, if everybody's sick, clearly there is something going around right now. We don't know how serious it is. But when you're under the weather, like, you're under the weather, dude. And then, like, I can't imagine having to go out there and then, fucking deal with these MLB pitcher or MLB hitters and hit your spots and all that. And, like, you're getting the brain fog. We don't know how, like, serious it is, but, like, your nose is running and you're feeling like, you're getting chills and, you're trying to think about what of course you're not going to be very good. And that's just Chris Bassett. There's apparently 20 other guys right now who are feeling like shit. Maybe that's why George Springer made his little botch in the,
you never know. Exactly, you never know. Not trying to give them excuses, but it is something to note that even though we're still sick, hey, we're still winning games, whatever that might mean.
Yeah. Great. Exactly. Get healthy. I'm assuming that they will be able to get healthy over this next week or so. Probably by the weekend it shouldn't be anything. But yeah, I mean, apparently the boys have been feeling under the weather. So drink. Get your chicken noodle soup. Get your V8s. Get all your ginger shots. All that shit.
Yeah.
One guy though, who clearly he's been taking his ginger shots and sipping on his V8s and having his spinach because he is popping off right now. We got to talk about the J of the week.
Yep, J of the week. You know who it is. It's Dalton Varsho, everybody. This guy, man, just phenomenal. Congratulations. I mean, what is there to say? Hits 3 homers, drives in a bunch run, leads the team right now in runs, in RBIs, in home runs. So OPS is well over 800 right now. This is what we needed, man. And the chopping in the wood, which I got the graphic, by the way, now. Very sweaty, buff guy hitting some woods, putting some big wood. But, man, this new approach by Dalton Varsho, he's going to pop his homers. But the idea with the approach, I want to remind everybody that it's not designed to hit home runs. He's going to run into a few, but it's designed to hit line drives hard and down the line, which he's done, and some of them just left the ballpark.
Yeah.
So keep it going. What I don't want to see is him try to get excited and say, I need to repeat and hit another home run and carry this team. You're doing your job, dude. It's up to the top boys to pick it up. You're doing your job. Don't try anything else. Keep it with your approach. And Dalton Varsho, if he does that, he'll be fine.
Of course, man. I mean, I'll tell you right now, like, this is the first moment in time, like this first, week and a half or this last week and a half, where I haven't felt bad about missing Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Yeah, for real. And the defense, too. Dude, unbelievable.
He's got to, right now, things might have changed yesterday, but before yesterday, on Baseball Reference, he had a 1.3 WAR, which was just outside of the top 10 in all of baseball. Right? Like, I mean, the guy is doing very, very good right now, folks. So Dalton Varsho with the defense, with the offense as well. He's just doing everything that, everything humanly possible. There he is. I
think this is, it's everybody. It's everybody.
It updated. He's 6. Yeah.
Pitchers, batters, doesn't matter. He's with Bodywood Jr., Blanco threw a no-no, Ohtani, our boy Barrios. Wow, we got some Blue Jays up here getting some WAR, boys.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty indicative of what we've watched this year. It's been La Maquina, and recently Dalton Varsho just getting it done. We've said it time and time and time again. If he can, if he can pop off with the bat, if he can chop the wood, you're now looking at an MVP candidate. Like, you're looking at an actual guy who could be a 6 or a 6.5 WAR player because of how much he does defensively speaking. Somebody said it earlier in the chat, but going back to that Yariel Rodriguez start, Yariel Rodriguez, part of the reason why he only left with 1 earned run was because Dalton Varsho was out there saving the day, being Superman out there in left field. Like, and he does that consistently. Yeah. Now that you are carrying the team with the bat, though, like, other tier of baseball.
That's the difference right there. We had one podcast in the offseason about bold predictions, bold takes, and my one that I think it could very well happen.
Is it tracking?
It's tracking Dalton Varsho for a 6.5 WAR. Lead the team in WAR. I mean, he's right behind Barrios. I didn't expect this to happen, but if it weren't for his great start, he would be leading the team in WAR. And all you got to do is be an above average bat. If you can be a slightly above average bat, like a 105 OPS plus, even Ben Nicholson-Smith brought this up to him. He agreed. If he can do that, that's a 6 WAR player right there. Incredible. Keep it up, Varsho. We love you, dude.
Yeah. Everything about his game right now is just going incredibly, and he's very deserving of the J of the week. If we get if we could get the top of the lineup doing even half of what they should be doing, holy mother of God, now you got a baseball team. Now you're finishing the sweep. Now you're bringing the broom out. We haven't been able to do that yet. 3 tries. They're going to get a sweep eventually.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to do it sooner rather than later. Let's take a look at this Kansas City series, everybody. It'd be tough to sweep this one. 4 games in Kansas City, and this team's actually been pretty good at baseball.
They have been. They're 13-9 right now, guys, and the Toronto Blue Jays are going in. They got some good pitching that's popping off in the early part of the season, and some good offensive production from Vinny Pasquantino, I think that's how you say his name, and then Bobby Witt Jr., of course. So the boys have got to be ready, and there's no off days. They're sick right now, apparently. No off days. You are playing tonight, guys.
Yeah, no time to rest.
At 7:40, you're going to have Yusei Kikuchi going up against Brady Singer. I know you have on your fantasy team right now, doing very well. But Kikuchi doing very well. The Blue Jays against Singer, I mean, this is a different pitcher right now. So, like, these stats could be a little bit null. But Blue Jays have been okay. I mean, kind of fluff has been good. Clement only has short sample size. You know, Bichette's got his ABs. Biggio's had his ABs. Not a whole lot that we can really predict. But right now, what I'm looking at is that Kikuchi matchup versus Brady Singer. Are we going to be able to have the dominant performance again from Yusei Kikuchi? I'm wearing the Cooch's Loose shirt for a reason, right, guys?
Yeah.
I'm trying to manifest this. Even though we're not going to be live for the game tonight, I'm going to manifest some energy. What are your thoughts on game 1 right here?
This is a tough one, dude, because, it's 2 really hot pitchers who have never been this good at baseball running into each other. And, Kansas City, they felt like walking into this year, they should be a walkover team. They're not a walkover team right now. We're kind of playing them at the wrong time. So I'm looking at this entire series, and I'm thinking it's actually pretty even across the board. And I feel like I'm, even though we've been hot right now, even though we've been good at baseball, I'm feeling like this may be a split of a series. And
I'd agree.
I'd
be happy with it.
Do I think the Cooch is gonna lose this one? Do I think he's gonna lose it? Even if he's loose, it's tough to bet against the Cooch right now because he's been so good. But I feel like this could be an L here.
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, absolutely. Even though I think Kikuchi's going to still be good. Singer's going to be good, but I do think it's going to be low-scoring. This is actually a good time to shout out the sponsor of this video and give our bets right now on this upcoming game.
Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal. We've got a couple bets for this game that we are riding with. Adam's saying under 9.5. A little bit of a low-scoring affair. That does seem reasonable with Yusei Kikuchi and Brady Singer.
And as well, sorry to cut you off, but the Blue Jays offense, right?
That's another thing.
If we haven't scored over 5 runs in 12 games, I mean, right there, that's at our best is half of what the over is. So,
literally, yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be, this feels like a really good lock for me.
Yeah, no, that seems reasonable. And I am, even though I think that we might lose this game and it might be a low score, I do still think that the Cooch is going to get loose. He's been going crazy with the strikeouts, folks. He's just been striking people out left, right, and center. They are chasing. They are whiffing. They are missing right now. That curveball especially is very good.
Very good.
I'm saying over 6.5 strikeouts for the Cooch.
Good odds.
Yeah, great odds right there. I mean, I don't think that they've caught on yet to the fact that this guy is literally Cy Young this year. So
I did look at one thing where Kansas City Royals are pretty good at the not striking out part of the game, but they haven't faced Coochie.
They haven't faced Cooch, dude. They have not faced the Cooch. So that's what we're saying there, folks. Even though I do think it's going to be a bit of a low score and potentially an L. Let's move on to game 2 because this one I'm looking at and I'm thinking this is a good opportunity to take one here. You got Gausman going up against Waka. Waka's been pretty good at baseball. Gausman, as you know, rough, rocky start, but looked pretty good in that last one. I'm feeling good about this. I'm thinking I'm going to start hopping back. I mean, I was never really off the Gausman train, but all he had to do was look good one time, and now I'm 100% back on the train.
Right,
And so we did. So now I'm back on the train, and I'm thinking that this is Kevin Gausman, who is good at baseball, and he's going to annihilate. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to say we slightly win this one. Kevin Gausman, he was up against the Yankees last time around. He had a real bit of a redemption game there after getting blown up by them in the previous series that we faced in New York, in the Bronx. I think, yeah, one outing, we're good. He's going to give me 5 2/3 and give up 2 earned runs, and the Blue Jays are just going to just squeak enough off Waka and maybe the bullpen, and we're going to get the W here. Especially first game, I'm imagining it's going to be like they're going to, unload their bullpen on us, and then they're not going to have the boys for this one. We're going to take this one. We're 1-1 right now.
1-1 in the series against Kansas City so far. That seems pretty reasonable. Then you got Yariel Rodriguez going up against Marsh. Marsh 3-0, 3.22 ERA. Yariel Rodriguez, though, starting to find his own. Does his hot streak continue in Kansas City?
Oh, damn. Now I'm starting to think, because we know who's coming after Yariel.
I know.
It's La Maquina. Do I think we're going to win this one? Okay, how about this, guys? I do think we're going to, it's like a 50-50 chance we're going to lose Monday, in my opinion, right? Like, it's pretty even. It's going to be a big pitching duel. I do think we're going to win Gosman. This one, I think it's about 50-50 as well, because no one's faced Yariel Rodriguez, and we've barely faced Marsh. Like, barely any sample size there from Marsh. Maybe was he a reliever? I'm not sure, but not a lot of sample size here for the boys. It's a coin toss. For the prediction, I'll say loss, just because I already said we won Monday. But I think we got a great chance. Again, like we said earlier, like this guy's pitching 2 games for us. We won both. Even though he didn't get the win, he's going to get 5 innings. I think we're going to have a good outing again from Rodriguez.
Yeah, dude. It's part of that, like, people have never seen him before thing. Like, I do think that is a bit of an advantage, right? The book's not out on you yet. Eventually, it will be. And teams are going to start looking at his prior games and being like, okay, this is when he throws here. This was the count. This, you know what I mean? This is where he's going to attack you. Look here. I don't think that the book is out yet, though. So I'm still riding with him. But, again, you're going to have about 5.5 innings to account for, or at least 5 innings to account for, where he's not going to be in the game. And that's going to be your Bowden Francis. And that might be, if we win that Kevin Gausman game, might be some of your lesser bullpen guys. So I am going to say that we lose this one. But I do hope that it's not because of Yariel Rodriguez, that it's, other guys.
I hope so. Maybe a little bit of bullpen blowout, maybe a little bit of an underperformance from the Jays offense. Wouldn't be surprised there. And then you've got at 2 o'clock on Thursday, you've got La Maquina and Reagans, who's actually the worst ERA, even though he's got definitely a lot of prospect here for Reagans. Lots of strikeouts for the kid. Jose Barrios, I mean, you're never going to say you're going to lose a game the way this guy's pitching. This is a smash. This is the lock of the week at 2 o'clock. Jose Barrios is going to just dominate. I mean, what else is there to say?
It's as simple as this, dude. Just look at the win-loss.
Yeah.
We've
never lost a game
4-0.
with him pitching.
It's that simple, everybody. I mean, sometimes, there's a lot of analysis, but then there's also just, the fucking easy stuff. And this feels like the easy stuff. You're going to ride Jose Barrios until the wheels fall off, everybody. I think that he continues his torrid streak right now.
He's going to win. He's going to win Pitcher of the Month for April in MLB. That's what I'm saying. He should. Actually, there is one guy in Boston who's going crazy. Yeah, there is. I hardly ever heard of this dude before. But yeah, like the Boston guys. Crawford or something like that. I actually forget. Yeah, but
it's going nuts right now.
We got to get Barrios.
Gotta get La Maquina. I mean, it's a tough battle right now, dude. But I think that you can handle Kansas City. So if our predictions come true, folks, 2-2 in this Kansas City series, that would put the Toronto Blue Jays at 14-12. Which I will take, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I will take. You're still in the mix. Hopefully, some of these other guys drop some games. I'd love to see Boston start to struggle a bit. Why are you third? I hate it. We knew that Baltimore and New York was going to be good at baseball. I truly don't see either of them falling off anytime soon. Wow, 14-7 is Baltimore now. 15-7 for the Yankees.
Yeah,
that sucks. I hate it. Boston's got to get out of this race.
I'm looking at it right now. Boston's facing the Guardians this week.
That's kind of tough.
That is pretty tough right there. They got Houck, but Boston's got Houck. He's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Continuing looking down, Rays got the Tigers. Tigers are pretty good. They're 12-10 right now. They're in the mix just like us. That could be a little bit of a split series. But Yankees got the A's. That's gonna just be punishment right there.
Yeah.
Keep going, and Orioles got the Angels. That's gonna be punishment. So don't worry about the top 2 guys.
They're gonna pull away anyways.
They're gonna pull away. We gotta just do our job. Take 2, and then there is a reality. Like I said, I do think we can take 3 and 1 because there's kind of coin toss games, 2 of them in this series, and but we also could lose 1 of 3. That's what we can't have happen, or else we're last.
And look, dude, again, it's one of those things where right now. The pitching is incredible, and I do anticipate that for a large part of the season, they're going to be really good. but somebody's going to blink eventually. Someone is going to have a bad game. I don't think Yusei Kikuchi is going to finish with a 2 ERA, and I don't think that Jose Barrios, even though he's amazing, is going to finish with a 0.85 ERA, right? Like, someone's going to blink eventually, and when they do, the offense is going to need to pick up the slack.
That's the problem, man.
And that's, you're not going to be able to do that with only 5 runs. You know, there's going to be a week or, even like 2 or 3 weeks of time where, all of a sudden the pitchers just aren't good at baseball right now, and they're just going through something, and that's where you have to hope that the rest of your team can pick up the slack and get you some wins.
See, maybe I'm pessimistic, but we said it off the top of the show. If you don't make any changes to the team, don't expect any different results. Are we ever going to have a stretch where we just all figure it out? Like,
you have to, dude, you got to hope so. You got to play for it, right? Like, there's other, why is Kansas City good at baseball right now? Nobody would have thought that they're good at baseball. They're young and exciting. They're good at baseball right now. I mean, right? Like, there's got to be a moment in time where the Toronto Blue Jays, offensively speaking, are all at least kind of good at baseball. And there are guys that are doing it. Varsho and Turner and Clement and Dave Schneider. Can't take anything away from them. Even Kevin Biggio being very solid right now. More of him in the lineup, please, John Schneider.
300 batting average with runners in scoring position. What are we doing?
Yeah, more of him in the lineup. That would be great. But yeah, you're gonna need the top boys to have a week eventually.
Well, let's predict, shall we, of what these top boys or maybe even the bottom boys are these starting pitchers. What are they gonna do this week for the Toronto Blue Jays? Because it's time to spin that wheel.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
It is, in fact, a wheel that we spin every single week. If you guys have been following along, Team Nick pulling away a little bit.
Getting pounded a little bit, guys. Look, I had the wheel last week. I had 2 out of 3 picks go my way in terms of just selecting first.
Yeah.
I picked Turner. It's the week he falls off. And then I let you take this one. You pick Guerrero. That's a good pick. I picked Kiermaier. He gets a little bit hot. Then home runs. Nobody won that. That was a split category. Clearly, Varsho was the right choice here.
Yeah.
And it does say Springer here. I think it might have glitched when we were doing it last week.
Okay, I was going to say, I definitely did not pick George Springer for
It's Varsho. It glitched last week, if you guys remember. But it's time to pick some new guys this week. Starting it fresh, it's next week. What are we going to get, everybody? Let us know in the chat, who are you going to be picking for these categories? It should be a pretty interesting one. I don't even know who I'm picking.
No, I genuinely have no idea. And it's going to be Worst
J. Interesting stuff.
I didn't even think about that. Usually I think about some of these ones before, but like I really didn't think about the worst J.
There's some pretty bad J.
There is some bad ones, everybody. Now, the good thing is, if I go first, if I pick like a pitcher, for instance, you'd have to pick a pitcher.
I would have to pick a pitcher.
But I don't think that we do bullpen guys for this.
No.
And, that's kind of volatile.
And
there's not really a starting pitcher that I'd want to bet against right now, which means that I'm kind of going back to the lineup.
Well, let's take a look right now, just in terms of worst Jays in OPS. I mean, Turner, but how are you going to bet
not
against that guy?
Not going to be betting against that guy consistently.
George Springer, 466 OPS. David Schneider, not enough ABs and still 600 OPS. Isaiah Falefa kind of fell off a little bit this week. Not a lot of ABs, only 13 in the last 7 days.
That's wild. Why?
Kind of interesting, yeah.
Okay, you can go first. I don't know.
I
don't know.
I honestly think last 7 days, I mean, I was getting on George. I think George ain't a bad one. People saying Springer. Honestly, he's going to get the ABs, and I think he's going to kind of suck. I'm going to go George Springer.
That is very reasonable, dude. And that, you know
wow,
what? That's how bad. You know that we're a bit down bad. When you're picking the leadoff man for the worst J.
Guy's just been bad, man.
That's tough.
He hasn't been hitting other scoring position. He hasn't got any extra base pop. He's been walking great. Maybe I'll pick it for a walk category, but you ain't hitting the ball right now.
Okay, well, listen. I am going to pick Kevin Kiermaier. I know that he had a hot week last week, but more than half of those hits were fluky, bobbly nonsense that would never have been a hit.
Right.
And he would have been right there with George Springer had those not fallen.
That's fair.
I'm picking Kevin Kiermaier, and I'm happy with that decision.
Okay. Very good. All right, let's keep spinning. Let's keep going.
Going, everybody. My selection for the next two, what is it going to be? Would love to land on one of those bonus players. I think we're going around. Yeah, we are going to go around here.
OPS.
That's gonna
There
be
you
OPS.
go.
And I was worried about this category, guys, because I really didn't know what to do.
Because obviously everyone is going to chat, going to go, Varsho.
Yeah.
You're not picking Vlad. You're not picking Guerrero. You're not
No.
picking Springer. Turner had a bad week. Lost me the week right there. Actually, one of the worst OPSs.
Yeah.
But do you go back to him? Do you ride the hot bat of Varsho?
I mean, I genuinely don't think that there is a better option here. Like, I think
Yeah.
that is the correct choice.
I agree.
And I just, like everybody else, there's a lot of, I mean, there's still question marks around Dalton Varsho, but, what have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
He's been pretty good at baseball lately, so.
This is tough because in terms of ABs, guys, like, not a lot of guys get a lot of consistent ABs. The only ones doing it are Dalton Varsho, Justin Turner, Bobichek, Guerrero.
Keep in mind, though, we're going to have an additional day this week.
We are.
So,
we are.
like maybe those guys who played only 4 games are playing 5 games instead type thing. So
Going through, I hear you. Going through the lineup, Cam Bishop's not been playing at all. 6 at-bats in last week. That's crazy.
Insanity, yeah.
So I can't pick him. I really like Cam Bishop. I'm not going to pick the catchers. Just too volatile right now. Dave Schneider, I mean, love the guy, but again, too volatile. Can have really bad weeks and really great weeks. I might actually have to ride back with Justin Turner. I might have to. I can't pick Guerrero. I can't, even though he has an 835, I can't pick him right now. I'm not touching this guy.
Nope.
Bo Bichette, can't touch him. Can't touch, I literally picked Springer for worst J. I can't pick that. I might actually have to go and ride again with Justin Turner.
I think there are only
That's
2
it.
options here, and it's Turner or Guerrero. So pick your poison, dude.
not picking Guerrero.
There you go.
I cannot.
There you go.
And there you
So
go.
Dude, we watched the strikeout at the end of the game. I know not to
Dude,
pick that guy.
I can't believe we're picking the same guys again for this category.
Dude,
I'm hoping it works.
Hey, it worked for me last week, man. I'm ready to run it back.
Let's go, guys. All right. Last spin. Nick will pick first for this one. Yeah, people in the chat, JT. Yeah, it was literally Varsho or JT.
It's got to be, man. It has to be, everybody.
And K batters. There you go. Oh, who are you going to pick? You said it.
I did say it, man, and I got to run with it. We are going to go Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Dude, this is like a very similar week as last week, bro.
Dude, like, this is so sad, though, right? Like, what is this team right now? I'm picking Guerrero for the most. I hate that I'm doing that, but he won me the week last week doing that. The guy is striking out a lot.
Okay, so here's the thing. Varsho's been great, but he has been striking out a lot. I don't want to ride with Kiermaier because you picked him for worst J, so I don't want to like kind of split that category. I want to gain some momentum here. Gavin's not going to get the ABs. You picked Guerrero already. Kiermaier, like I said, not going to pick that. I might actually ride with a Dalton Varsho and hope that if he doesn't get the OPS, and even if he does, I mean, he's still going to get a lot of strikeouts. He actually led the team in strikeouts last week.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I'm actually going to pick him right here and hope that if he doesn't do well, he also won't do well with the bat, and that will help me vice versa.
Okay. No, I think that's a reasonable selection there, man. Interesting week, guys. Honestly, this one, I mean, it's up in the air again. Could always go either way. But I feel like I'm feeling a little bit better about my team.
Exactly, but it could go either way, right?
Either way,
you
man.
pick a whole season. I'm like, okay, well, I'm winning with Turner. You know,
That's
where's
true.
Jay? You're winning with Kiermaier.
Yeah.
K batters.
Who
knows?
effing
knows there?
guys? Folks, that is the Blue Jays Today Show. Let us know your thoughts about everything in the comments down below. Once again, Series W, we're feeling good about it, but there is still some work to be done with this squad. 7 games in a row now. You got Kansas City, you got LA Dodgers this week. It's going to be exciting, but it will also be difficult.
If the Blue Jays in 7 games, we'll obviously break down the Dodgers series this upcoming Friday for our next Blue Jays Today Show. But if we can end up with a positive record this week, 4-3, that's a W.
A big win.
Big win for the Jays.
Big win, guys. We're going to be live for that Wednesday game. We're going to have a video coming out tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Quick shout out here to all of our YouTube members and everything like that, folks. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. There's the Patrons, there's the YouTube. What a fucking amazing community all of you guys have created with us. We love you endlessly. And we're just hoping for a good week of baseball.
Let's get it, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
And as always,
Go Jays, go!